of Avelut, of mourning. So we need to look into this mitzvah. It's important. It's part of everyone's life. And there's two parts that we're going to discuss: the mourning for the Beit HaMikdash and the mourning for our deceased relatives. So he says that we have to know that an important part of our life is the Beit HaMikdash. A lot of times, sadly, we don't know what the Beit HaMikdash is. It's not just a building. It was it represented a certain level of relationship we had with Hashem, and we lost that. And we don't even sometimes know what we lost, and therefore it's harder to mourn. But we have to know, especially during the 3 weeks in the summer, during Ben HaMesarim, we have to make sure to definitely mourn. But he says, Amnam lo ma'asehu ha'ikar. The main thing is not the action. Rather, it's the emotions, to truly feel the mourning in your heart. Person has to weep with bitter tears and a broken heart and be humbled. And he says that a person has to groan and he has to feel the suffering of heaven. Kadosh Baruch Hu, can you imagine like a son who he raised and he worked so hard to give him a place to grow up in and to send him to school and to make sure that he will have the best life possible. And the son says, Abba, I don't need you. What did you help me in my life? What did you do for me? I don't want to be next to you. I'm going to make my own life. I don't care what you say, what you do. I don't want to see your face. Haz v'shalom, that's how Kadosh Baruch Hu feels. For this, the Jewish people, they found other things to do besides for Torah and Mitzvot, sadly, and Hashem says, we cannot live in the same house anymore. You left me. You found other things to follow, other people to be like. You don't have a direct connection with me anymore. So I took the Shekhinah and I left. Haz v'shalom. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu cries every single day. In the Gemara Masechet Brachot says that for this, that he had to kick us out. He didn't want to kick us out. He didn't want to be in this situation, but well, what should I do? This is the situation we came to, and it's a very bitter situation. So therefore, person has to cry, not for the building. Just the building destroyed is not the main thing. The main thing is Hashem's suffering and our suffering and the lack of awareness. You know how many people don't know about Hashem and don't know about mitzvot and don't know what the point of life is. And if they had a temple, it would be much easier for them to access Hashem. It'd be much easier for them to see miracles in the world. It'd be much easier for them to be able to feel like how you are at the Kotel and you feel that Shekhinah and you feel like, wow, I'm a Jew and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Goyim used to believe and used to know about Hashem so much more. Goyim used to say, the Jewish people, they're the chosen people. Hashem is with them. People used to see it with their own eyes. Even Goyim used to know. How much more so now, even our Jews today, our brothers and sisters, they don't know about the Torah. They don't know about Hashem. They don't know so much about the Shekhinah. And it's all because we don't have that relationship and that revelation of Hashem like we used to, because the temple's gone. So this is what we have to be mourning about: the suffering of the Kadosh Baruch Hu in Shamayim. Everything is according to your knowledge of understanding. If you don't have understanding about the Shekhinah and about the Beit HaMikdash and what relationship we had and the history of the Jewish people, you won't know what the temple meant. You don't know what that relationship was, so you won't mourn for it. You won't know what it is, right? He says it's also dependent on the love for Hashem and the purity of your soul. If you're very connected to this world and very connected to Gashmiut, it also takes away from your understanding of the Beit HaMikdash and of the mourning for it. And he says that a person has to know that person has to mourn according to his appropriate level, and he has to make sure to not forget. We know that we have many times halachot that we have to remember. Even in our celebrations, we have to remember the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. Very classic example is the wedding. And the wedding and in the chuppah, they break the glass. For what reason? To remember the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. Right? Why do they sing that? To remember the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. Very funny that the Ravadia says that we break the glass, we yell Mazel Tov. And we say, nah. Why do you do that? That we're just remembering the time. We need a moment of silence. And you're yelling Mazel Tov. People, Hazar think that the breaking of the glass is like the final step of the marriage. You acquired the wife through breaking the glass. It's not true. The breaking of the glass is just to mourn the temple. You already acquired her as a wife a few minutes ago when you finished the Shah Brachot. So therefore, he says that it should be proper, that everyone should announce in the chuppot, Rabotai, please don't yell Mazal Tov right away. DJ, don't play the 999 right away. Just give it a pause. Let's have a moment of silence like we have for fallen soldiers. We should have a moment of silence for the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. And then we'll scream Mazal Tov. And you see that we should never ever forget, because in the times when we have good times, Haz v'shalom, he can lead us to forgetting. So he says, this is something now, the big musar, the Pele Yoetz is going to say, very big musar. He says, Motzeh davar tatishma kama ra, mar ma'aseh shosim k'tzat anashim u'nashim. He says, now, contemplating this matter, I want to mention how evil and bitter the actions of some men or women are. He says, Shemitvadvim yachal litzmoch misimchat mereud b'leil motzei Shabbat shalelot. He says, people gather together, enjoy partying with friends motzei Shabbat, or another long winter nights. They get together, they make these parties, the shishliki, this oshi palov, and get together. And he says what? Ochlim v'shotim manginim m'shorerim shirei agavim shirei goyim. They eat, they drink, they play music, sing songs of love, sing songs of idol worshippers, and they party. What's the reason? No reason. Voime, why not? Let's get together, the boys. Let's get together, the couples. Let's have a good time and jam out and get half drunk and have a good time. Why not? What's the problem? Everything's kosher. Everybody's tzanua. There's no mixed dancing. Okay, so we have goyish music. What's the big deal? Okay, we have people singing love songs in Russian. What's the big deal? We go and getting half drunk. What's the problem? That's what people do, says the Pele Yoetz. Oy lahem, aha lahem. He says, woe is to them, woe is upon them. Ki bli safek asimcha letuga yapech lahem. Ba'olam hazeh u'ba'olam haba. He says, Haz v'shalom, this gladness will turn to sorrow for them if they do not make teshuvah from this. He says, why? He says, for sure, they're, first of all, moshav letzim. They probably, speaking inappropriate things there, making inappropriate jokes, and they're not bringing up words of Torah, they're just hanging out, right? And he says, and this nivilut apeh, they say curse words over there, shirei agavim, they listen to love songs, inappropriate music, and what? They drink, and there's ladies there, and they kind of has kalita things. But the worst thing is, he says, Kas la'aviv ben ksil memar yiludato ki yomar HaKadosh Baruch Hu oy banim achzerim kol barama nishma nehi bechi tamruim echel mevakeh al banea. He says, Hashem, the Bet HaMikdash is not built. And we're having a party like, wow, I feel so happy. I'm in the best place possible with my buddies, drinking. What could be better than this? Beautiful plov. I see this, at these parties. People say, it's a beautiful plov. It's a beautiful food, beautiful people, having a great time. I'm like in Gan Eden. There's nothing better than this. Kaif, I love this. I can't wait till next week we're going to do this again. And says the Pele Yoetz, but what about the Bet HaMikdash? We don't have the ultimate simcha. You think this is the point of life? You think this is okay? You can have simcha shel mitzvah. You made a siyum masechet. You have an Rosh Chodesh party. You make a shiur. The main thing is the shiur, and you brought nice food. You bring good people. Okay, something mitzvah related to give honor to Hashem. Here we're just giving honor to ourselves. We're enjoying ourselves, and we completely forgot about the morning of the temple. Completely forgot about how Hashem is still suffering. You know what people told me? People said after October 7, how can I go out to a restaurant to eat? How? I'm sick. I can't go and order a dessert and spend crazy money dancing in the restaurant. And what? My brothers and sisters are still hostages. They don't know if they're going to live tomorrow. How do I have a heart to go and eat? Says the Pele Yoetz, it's the same thing for the Chorban Bet HaMikdash. How do you have a heart to go and have a party like this? Think everything's perfect, everything's fine. Let's make a dance, Oshi Palo. And what happens? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is crying every day. How can you do that? How can you do it? Chai. Make a party, no problem. People need to get together and have a good time and bond. Bring mitzvah there. Bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu there. Involve him. Say, we are here to give honor to Hashem, not to just kaifavatz ourselves. And says the Pele Yoetz, that's what it means really, to not forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to mourn for the Bet HaMikdash. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen, Amen.